Well, thanks for tuning in. We have a bit of a question here today. A lot of the businesses that we're dealing with are dealing with mask ordinances. Now, this is not a discussion on if you believe masks are useful or not, but this is a inquiry onto how should business owners deal with mask ordinances, which appear to have some sort of conflict with other health and safety regulations. Again, we really encourage some feedback on this, but not based on if you think it should, which way you think this should be, but rather on what is the actual legal treatment of masks. So, as we know, the masks are being instituted mainly at a municipal level throughout North America. There's some exceptions there, but mainly at a municipal level. But there appears to be some health and safety regulations, either at a provincial or state level or at a federal level throughout North America. I'm just going to read the ones from the US OSHA site. And it says that human beings must breathe oxygen to survive and begin to suffer adverse health effects when the oxygen level of their breathing air drops below 19.5% oxygen. And this is coming straight from the United States Department of Labor, Occupational Health, Safety and Health Administration. Okay, so then I thought to think, what is it here in Canada? Upon hearing that, I started to wonder, what is it here in Canada? So I started to look up the rules, and sure enough, the rules appear very similar. Now, these are rules enforced by the province of Alberta, and I'll quote some of the rules here. It says, an employer must determine the degree of danger to a worker at a worksite and whether the worker needs to wear a respiratory protective equipment if the atmosphere has or may have an oxygen concentration of less than 19.5% by volume. Okay, very similar rule. We're starting to see some real consistencies, and these rules have been out for decades, really. And then it goes on to say that an employer must ensure that a worker wears self-contained breathing apparatus or an airline respirator having a capacity of at least 30 minutes if the oxygen content of the atmosphere is or may be less than 19.5% by volume. So I think we're getting some pretty good consensus on that the air has to be greater than 19.5%. So couldn't get the perfect testing equipment for this. We've got some pretty good testing equipment for this. And this is an MSA. This is a calibrated oxygen meter, which was measuring the percentage of oxygen. So right now you're looking at 20.8% oxygen. Okay, so well within, and we read up on it, it has to be between 19.5 and 23. In fact, if it's too high, that's problematic as well. Okay, so now this one is too big. I've seen some experiments online here, so I both wanted to look up the standards myself to see if it actually does say 19.5%. Sure enough, it does say 19.5% US federal government, and it says the same thing here in Alberta, Canada, 19.5%. And so then we have a regular surgical mask, okay? Surgical mask, and I'm just going to place it. These right here, these are the sensors on this thing here. And if I just...
Okay, let me just get a view of the screen there, nice and tight. Good, so we're at good. We're at 20% volume now. We're seeming to be healthy.
Now these right here are the sensors, okay? And if I'm to take the mask and put it over the sensors, nothing is really going to change that mask on the oxygen percentage level. The mask by itself is not jeopardizing this reading. So I just want to be sure that everyone understands that it's not because I'm putting the mask on the sensors that doesn't change the oxygen level. But as soon as I take that same mask, now I'm not even going to seal it to my face. I'm just going to put it close to my face. If you'll notice, like above and below, I have a significant amount of air passing through it. And I'm functioning throughout my day, and I'm just talking. Guess what just happened? The oxygen level that I am breathing in underneath this mask, Trevor, where is it going?
It's at 19.1, 0.2. It's going down, yeah. So as you are continuing to go down, your oxygen level is decreasing, 19.1. Yeah, so it's bouncing between 19.1 and 19.2.
So this is a meter that would normally start to go off in a workplace when it becomes unsafe. But the oxygen level inside that mask, and whether it's safe or not, we don't know. But we know that this rule has been there for our safety for decades, and now we have a different rule. Now I started to think to myself, who actually wears masks? We see surgeons, they wear masks. And they wear masks for long periods of time. It's not unusual for a surgeon to be in surgery 1, 2, maybe 3 days a week. But they don't normally wear masks 40, 50, 60 hours a week, day after day, week after week, month after month. Both Trevor and I have worked in trades, and we've had to wear masks often for a whole day. But we never had a month go by where we were supposed to wear a mask. So now again, this video is not about whether masks are right or wrong. This is about what do we actually do when we have a city ordinance that almost clearly conflicts with a higher level of government than that ordinance. So these are the challenges that entrepreneurs are facing, and ones that we're really hoping that we're giving some more significant guidance on, because there doesn't seem to be any reference of this being made by the municipalities that are passing these ordinances. Thanks very much, and we look forward to some feedback on this.